I've been paying rent for years, but when my parents move in my golden child brother and his family for free, my mom demands I pay even more. So, I secretly move out and tell her, I don't live there. Now enjoy the freeloaders. I'm 22, I go to a college close to home, and I stay with my parents. However, I've never wanted to be a freeloader and just live off my parents' money, so I went and got a part-time job and struggled while I was in college. But I still paid my parents $552 every single month for rent and to help out with other expenses because I calculated it, and that would be my share. This is where it gets weird. About a year into college, my parents started demanding that I pay more, but my golden child brother, who's around the same age as me, isn't paying anything. So I don't think that's fair. I came up with an ultimatum: either they make the golden boy start paying too, or I'll leave, move into my own apartment, and use that money with roommates. You won't believe what my mom had to say. All my life, I've lived wondering why my parents couldn't love me the way they love my brother, and now I guess I don't want to find out the reason anymore. My name is Mason, I'm 22. Like many people my age, I also dreamt of making it big. I have a passion for software design and have been pursuing a bachelor's degree in the same field. Not only that, but I also work part-time as a software developer, and whatever I make from my job, I save most of it to start my own company. That's why I still live with my parents. Since college is close to my parents' house, it saves me transportation and money, along with other expenses. But I'm not freeloading on my parents' dime. Every month, I pay them $550 as my share of rent and other household expenses. So, my life had been going great, and I thought that in just a few more years, I'd be close to achieving my dream. However, everything started going haywire when my brother, well, he's 23, and his whole family decided to move in. Don't get me wrong, I love my brother, but he has also been a real troublemaker since we were children, and despite all that, he was still my parents' favorite. From a very young age, he had this knack for finding himself in the middle of one mess after another. Whether it was breaking curfew, skipping classes, or getting into fights at school, Cam somehow managed to stir up chaos at every turn. Yet, despite all this mischief, my parents always had a soft spot for him. No matter how bad things got, they were quick to forgive him, while I was left wondering what it would take just to earn the same kind of unconditional support. He always found a way to escape the consequences of his actions, and somehow everything would fall on me. Whether it was breaking something valuable or getting into trouble at school, I was always the one who ended up cleaning up after him. Cam got married when his girlfriend found out she was pregnant. It all happened so fast. I mean, one minute he was talking about wild parties and late-night hangouts, and the next, he was moving in with her family and preparing to become a dad. My parents were there for him through it all, supporting him both emotionally and financially. They even helped him and his wife set up their own place, hoping that a fresh start would help him take responsibility. A year ago, Cam and his family moved out, taking a generous sum from both our parents and his wife's family to start a business. Now, with him moving back in, things have only gotten worse. Cam claims his business is thriving. He boasts about securing contracts with major companies in the construction industry, acting as if he's some kind of tycoon. He says he's just waiting for a $2 million payout to come through, further exaggerating his success with each telling. I found it hard to believe, given his track record of irresponsibility, but my parents were quick to buy into his story, hanging on to every word like he was delivering a TED Talk. They'd sit there wide-eyed as he spun tales of his supposed adventures, nodding along with admiration. Meanwhile, I'd watch from the sidelines, feeling like a ghost in my own home. When Cam announced that he sold his house to invest in a big consignment, I nearly choked on my dinner. The audacity of it all was just astounding. And, of course, once the money comes in, he plans to buy a mansion in New York's wealthiest suburb, saying our entire family should move in with him. My parents are ecstatic, talking about how this is finally the breakthrough they always knew Cam would achieve. They're on cloud nine, ready to follow him into this new chapter, oblivious to the potential pitfalls that lay ahead. Meanwhile, I'm left wondering if this supposed success is just another one of Cam's schemes, another opportunity for him to escape responsibility while dragging everyone else along for the ride. While Cam waits for his windfall, he and his family contribute nothing to the household. They don't pay rent, they don't help with groceries, and they've practically taken over the house. Their two kids, whom I love, don't get me wrong, add to the chaos. The house is constantly loud, messy, and far from the peaceful environment I need to focus on my studies and work. I remember walking into the living room one day, stepping over toys strewn across the floor, and feeling like I was entering a war zone rather than my home. I used to cherish the quiet moments when I could sit down and code, but now those moments feel like a distant memory. It's as if my sanctuary has been stripped away and replaced by chaos and disorder. What's worse is that Cam and his wife seem to think they can order me around, asking me to run errands, yet they never offer to pay for anything. I feel like a live-in servant rather than a brother or even a son. They've taken over the kitchen, leaving their mess for me to clean, and their kids run around interrupting my attempts to concentrate. It's frustrating and exhausting to deal with their constant demands when I'm trying to carve out a future for myself. It would have been bearable until last week when Mom came into my room. At first, she started going on about how the household expenses have increased now that Cam has moved in with his family. Everything from bills to groceries is costing more. Deep inside, I knew what she was going to say, but I didn't imagine she would actually ask me to pay more. When I asked her if she had asked Cam the same and if he was starting to pay rent, she just got annoyed and left the room. The next day, over breakfast, Dad said the same thing as he stood up from the table, leaving me no chance to protest. I glanced over at my brother, who shamefully looked back at me and then continued eating. The following night after work, I went straight to my mom. I told her that I was barely making money and couldn't pay more than I already was. Since then, both mom and dad have stopped talking to me. They're giving me the cold shoulder as if I'm a freeloader or something. You know what hurts the most? Watching how my parents treat him versus how they treat me. Kem gets away with everything, and despite everything, they never hold him accountable. Meanwhile, I'm paying rent, working hard in school, and saving up for my future, yet it feels like none of that matters. I don't want to say it, but sometimes it feels like my efforts are invisible to them, like no matter what I do, I'll never be enough in their eyes. I used to think maybe I just wasn't trying hard enough, that if I could only achieve more, they'd finally see me. But now, after years of waiting for that approval, I realize it may never come. I've tried talking to my parents, but every conversation either ends with them changing the subject or just ignoring me altogether. They're so wrapped up in Cam's grand plan and his promises of a big house and lavish lifestyle that they don't see what's happening right in front of them. They don't see how much it hurts to be overlooked, how difficult it is to be working so hard and yet still feel like you're not enough. What's worse is that even though Cam is older, he acts as if I'm the one who owes him something. He doesn't lift a finger to help around the house, leaving me to take on extra responsibilities without any acknowledgement. I've thought about moving out, but that would cost even more, and right now my financial situation doesn't allow me to do that. I really don't know what to do. Should I start paying extra money? It just feels unjust. I'm not sure. Please let me know if I'm in the wrong here. I'll keep you updated on what happens next.